This video is for people using the new Beta 2 of the Bogburn Race Management software. We're going to give you a quick overview of the various capabilities of the software, and in subsequent videos we'll go into a lot of the functions in more detail. When you first bring up the system, you're at the dashboard, and the dashboard will show at the top here the current race that's been selected. You can have many races in the system, and I'll show you how to move between races a little later. You'll also see how many races are set up in this race. You have the current date and time, and you have the race clock. You can see right now the race clock is set to 0. We also have the current time expressed in 12-hour time and 24-hour time. And you can see right now it's in the morning, so they both say the same thing. You can see the state of the race clock, it's off. Also, this is more important for the iPhones and the iPads. This is the observer. When you distribute the data out to your iPhones and iPads, the observer should put in their own name and their location, and they can email you back the results, and the file names will indicate who they're from and where the location was. This info level indicator down here can be very useful when you start, because you can set the info level from 0 to 3, and 3 is where you're going to want to set it when you first install the system, because what it will do is it will display help messages for most of the major button pushes to explain what you're doing. Select to manage races allows you to switch between races, and that race will then change the title that's shown up here. The buttons on the right allow you to get to the athletes. We do keep an athlete history so that you can, if you're a coach, you can keep track of an athlete's results over a season. We have the setup, which you'll see has many options for setting up races. We have the race clock, which allows you to run in local time or global time, and the difference being that if you're running all your races on a single clock, you can set up a series of 4 races for the morning, all using the same clock, or you can have independent clocks for each of the races. The start manages the start, gives you a start clock for interval starts, gives you a countdown for each of the racers, tracks ghosts, and all of the things related to, the more complicated things related to interval starts. You can also use it for mass starts. Splits allow you to track the leaders and also allow you to identify people of interest. So we keep 2 sets of splits going, the overall leader and the splits among the people that you're tracking. We have a finish. The finish can actually be measured 4 different ways. The finish on the far left here actually records the time as you press the bib numbers as people cross, and that will actually give you the results just based on your entries. The assumption is when you press a bib, that's when they're finishing. The manual finish lets you enter the finish times manually, and it will calculate the elapsed time based on the start time and the time that you put in. You can also have people entering just bibs as people are finishing and just times, and then the system will merge the 2 together and allow you to create a finish from those 2 different lists. We have the results overall, the results for persons of interest. If you're a coach, this allows you to quickly see the results of everybody that you're tracking on your team. And here is the facility for merging bibs and times only for if you're doing finishes for those. Reconcile results allows you to take results from multiple devices and display them next to each other, and there are bump buttons that let you up and down the time by seconds or fractions of seconds. Scoring is still under development. It allows you to score people or teams over a series of races. We have a race log and athlete log that shows some of the changes that you've made in the system. These still need some further development. You can see grayed out. We have 3 buttons. If you indicate that you're doing a sprint race, it will allow you to track the finish in sprint format. It will calculate all the heats for you, so that if you have the quarterfinals, it'll calculate who should be in the semis. It supports both lucky loser and non-lucky loser sprint formats. Relays and pursuits, it will allow you to track relay teams of up to 4 people, and it also allows you to reconcile the results, and the results can be printed out with the individual legs being tracked or not. So this gives you a general overview, and there's really 2 main uses of the system. One is for a race organizer who's trying to set up and track a race, and the other is for coaches who are going to races where they're predefined start lists and they're trying to track their own athletes. So let's quickly go through an example pretending that you are a race organizer. Now, as a race organizer, the easiest way to do things is to go into setup. And when you go into setup, this window is a little bit intimidating, but you'll get used to it. There are many options, and we'll go into these a little bit later in another presentation. the easiest way to enter racers, and you can enter them by hand or you can copy another race, but the easiest way to do that, to enter racers, is to import from what we call the race package. Now the race package is a separate file, and you can see I have the info level up to 3, so we're getting messages as we step through these functions. The race package is a separate file that allows you to send race information between different devices, or you can also import external files into the race package. Now, importing from Excel spreadsheets is only supported under Windows, so you have to be running this on Windows. And when you do get the system, you're going to get a full install package on Windows that will set the system up for you, and you're also going to get a sample spreadsheet with all the proper headings that you can fill in, or you can create your own spreadsheet and map it when you're actually doing the import. What we're going to do to start is we are going to import race information from an external file into the package, and then we are going to import it from the package directly into the Bogburn Race Management System. We could also send this package to other devices, but in this example what we're going to do is we're going to import the Excel spreadsheet, we're going to set up the start lists and the like, then take that configured race, put it back in the package, and distribute it to iPhones and iPads, and we'll then move over and see how that operates in that environment. First, we will import an Excel spreadsheet. So we go to the import page, we do import external file, and we are going to use the test spreadsheet that's shipped with the product, so you have an example. And it will ask you which tab on that spreadsheet you want to use. I'm using the first tab. And then it will give you, based on the headers that you have in your Excel spreadsheet and the fields in the database, it will map them for you. And the spreadsheet that we ship has them in the perfect order and already lined up. If you created your own spreadsheet, you can move these fields around and line things up. You really only need to bring in first and last name if you are doing something very informal, but you typically will want to have first, last name, gender, and at least date of birth, so you can do age groups. So we will import the file. And when we import the file, it tells you how many records you've imported. We have 18 racers here. And then it sets up the race record. We're just importing racers. And there is a race record. And we read the race name from the first racer entry. And you can also go in with race detail and set up the race. So we can, if we want to do the race date, if we want to change the name, a sample race, and that's probably good enough for our demonstration. So now we have the basic race information, and what we'd like to do is we'd like to import it into our database. So we have imported it. It says we imported 1 race and 18 racers. Now this package could have been being sent to us from an iPhone or an iPad, but in this case we're actually bringing in the data from an external spreadsheet. Alright, so now we can exit the race package window. And what we would like to do is we're still on the old Bogburn race, which is what we had selected earlier. So we need to shift the selection by exiting out. It shifts to the sample race selection. Now we can go back into setup, and you can see we have our 18 racers. And one of the things that we would like to do is mark some of these people as people that we're tracking. Now this is a very small race, but let's say I have several people in my club which I'd like to track. What I can do is I have the concept called a person of interest, and a person of interest can be set to 5 different values, and we'll set them to 1, so they'll be in light blue. We'll set this person, maybe this is from another club, so we'll set them to 2, and you can see that they're highlighted. And you can see during the import I actually set the value for one of them, and you can set another one to 1. Now these people are marked, and you can actually have the system track people who are in your club or on your college team so that these are found for you automatically. But right now we have 4 people of interest, and 3 of them are from one club and 1 of them is from somewhere else. And so we'll track, when we get to splits, these 4 people separately as well as part of the overall race. So now let's go through the process of what you might want to do when you first are setting up your race. One of the first things that you probably want to do if you're offering age group prizes is to assign age groups. So we'll go to the age group window, on the age group window, you have the option of setting up your own age groups, or you can use our default age groups. And you can see up here it says Create Default Age Group List. And we click on that, and it gives us the message that that's what we're going to be doing, because I have the info level set to 3. And now it's complaining because I haven't given it the year that the season started, so it doesn't know what year I should use for determining the age. So I'm going to say 2013 and create the default age group list. And then it works out the dates of birth that are required for each age group. And also for school age, what we have the option of using a September cutoff, so it assumes the person's age no later than September 1st. So once these age groups are set up, and you can modify these if you wish, you can then assign age groups. And the age groups are assigned. You also have the default of setting what age group you would like to use if there is no date of birth or some other issue. So now that we have the age group set up, the next thing that we'll probably like to do is assign the bibs. So we go to Assign Bibs, and when we get to Assign Bibs, you can see right now that the starting bib is set up to 1, and right now the names are in alphabetical order. Typically you're not going to want to assign them in alphabetical order, and we do have options for setting up start groups so you can organize people by ability. At this point, all I'm going to do is randomize the list, and we're going to assume everybody's going to be in a single start group. So if I randomize the list, it just uses random numbers to scramble them so they don't get assigned numbers in alphabetical order. I'm assigning a bib starting with bib number 1, and it sequentially assigns all the bibs. And so now I have my 18 skiers assigned with bibs 1 through 18. Once I've assigned the bibs, I then can go and assign start times. In assigning start times, I have a wide range of options. I can do wave starts. I can specify how many people are in each wave. I'm going to keep it simple here. I'm going to just say that we're going to be using just a stopwatch, and we're going to start the first skier at 1 minute, and each skier subsequently after that will be going every 15 seconds. So what we'll do is we'll now assign the start times in bib order. And you can see that we've gone and assigned, starting at 1 minute, all 18 skiers in bib order. And so now we've essentially finished assigning and setting up our racers. We've marked the people that we're interested in, tracking separately, and we've also assigned the start lists, the age groups. So at this point, we're ready to create the race package and send it out to our volunteers who are running iPads and iDevices of various sorts. So let's create race package, continue. Now this gives us our full list of races in the system, and we have a shortcut key that just says select current race for export, which is what I'm going to do, and you can see anything that's marked yes will be included in the package. I have the option of sending out the athlete information as well as just the racers. I have not set up athletes for these racers. So I could have asked the system to create an athlete record for each racer, or try to find racers with the same member ID or other criteria, but we're keeping it simple for this example. So what we're going to do is we're going to create race export package, and it's asking us if we want to add it to what's already in the package or to clear the package out. Now what's in the package right now is what we imported from the spreadsheet, and we do not want to mix two versions of the same race. So we're going to clear out the package, and then what it'll do is it will put all of the updated information in as a new race into the package, and it says we have one race with 19 racers exported. I think the count is off by 1. So now we'll continue. Now at this point, we're ready to distribute this information out to our iPads and iPhones. So we have an email export, and what that does is it sets up automatically, goes out and gets the race package. It sets up, you can set up a default email address that you're going to use to mail things to, so that can be pre-filled for you. You can also change the address here, and it gives you a nice little message here, and you can actually change what the default message is. And then I send this out to the various devices, and now what we'll do is we'll go see what those devices look like when they receive this email. All they're going to do is they're going to get the email, click on the attachment, and it's going to jump right in to the system, and they're going to import the race, and then they're going to be all set to go.